What's going on, YouTube family? This you got Jordan Live. Thank you very much for watching another Jordan Live banger, man. Listen, I'm gonna make this one relatively short, man. This one right here is gonna be definitely more of a talk piece than anything else. Um, we all know the tragedy, not even a tragedy, but we all know the bullshit that went down yesterday. And I just got some thoughts that I want to share with the people because I feel like you know how I am. Every time I get on this microphone, I like to talk about not only uplifting things, but I also like to talk about more of the, entertainment side of things and not necessarily gossip. I hate the gossip, but I like to talk about real things going on. So I feel like that I can't continue any longer without having a conversation about what went down yesterday. First, let me give a shout out to everybody in the chat. Seven Exhibit, salute, salute. You catch the replay, thank you very much. MC, salute, man. You my brother for life, man. Thank you very much for joining in. NBA City, salute, salute. Another one, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining in. I just wanted to talk to y'all real quick about the things that I saw yesterday and just my thoughts a little bit, man. You guys saw it. You guys saw it, and I'm gonna play a little bit of video from it, but I'm not gonna play it all right now. YouTube likes to really be on my ass when it comes to these videos, man, and they almost got me on a week suspension, but I beat the case. Try to get me on a week suspension. Talking about child safety because I played a fight video. Come on. Anyway, the language that is not being used in these conversations are bothering me, y'all. So the language that is being used in these conversations are bothering me, y'all. Because in no way, shape, or form should the word terrorists be attached to any group of people. And then the phrase, I love you, is somewhere in your response. The people yesterday were domestic terrorists. Not all of them. I believe a good amount of them wanted peace. But the bottom line is, those in that insurrection should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. But you know what? They're not. Why? Because the president then goes, you know what? Go home. Go home in peace. I didn't hear a word of that when Black Lives Matter was protesting this last spring after the murder of George Floyd. I didn't hear them become called protesters. They were rioters. They were looters, insurgents. But what I saw yesterday and what's crazy is that, let's be honest, these people didn't just come out of nowhere. They organized to rally in Washington, D.C. Most of them, the majority of them stemming from the Make them Save America Again rally, whatever bullshit it was called that Trump hosted. And it was all hyped up on testosterone and bullshit and coke and all this other bullshit. And then they come over and then they just absolutely just breach. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I say to myself, what does it take for people to finally realize white privilege is a thing? What is it going to take for people, specifically white people, to realize that there is a privilege that you have in this country. Knowing good and damn well you can't just march up to the Capitol building and act like you run the shit. And then they're gonna say, "Oh no, but that's our building." Are y'all crazy? I can't believe I'm asking that question, but are y'all crazy? Then we see shocking video. YouTube don't even want people, you know what I'm saying? They don't even want people showing that video of the woman. I can't think of her name right now, but the woman who ended up being shot while she was in a chamber hall. And of course, just like anybody, just like these shootings that's going on now, you had a lot of people saying, all y'all people saying that it was wrong and she was unarmed. Why don't y'all keep it the same energy for the Negroes who was gunned down unarmed, doing what they were doing in their human right? I had to get this off my chest, man, because I just feel like for me, yesterday it was an ugly scene, but it was a scene that said to myself, it ain't over. Now, do I believe that the Trump presidency is over? Of course it is. It's done. It's over. Stick a fork in it. It's done. However, the new generation, this new emboldened generation of those racists are coming up. One guy said, one guy said, uh, 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 we're your businesses. So we own businesses around here. We own land around here. Y'all work for us. What are y'all doing letting this happen? Letting the right thing happen. They just didn't like what occurred. Just like so many people was not happy the night Donald Trump won, if I'm not mistaken, November 4th, 2016. But you know what? This shit didn't happen. Motherfuckers wasn't racing to the Capitol during, you know what I'm saying, when all that was going down. The Trump inauguration was kind of peaceful. I can't recall anything bad going on. I'm just saying. So there are obvious divides going on. Because you can say what you want, you can say whatever you want about Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Bernie, Cory Booker. You can say whatever you want about all these guys. I think they are gonna realize, and I think they are starting to realize, and I think when they seen what happened yesterday, they said to themselves, although black people are a little bit more resilient and a little bit more thinking than to just go ahead and just wreck shit. But I will say this. I will say this. At least we can honestly say that black people, we have the wherewithal to go, you know what? Yeah, we're going to protest. But you know what? It ain't going to be all about that. We know what y'all are going to do when we go across those fields. We know what y'all are going to do when we cross that fence. We know what you're going to do. We know it. It's no secret. It's not shocking. It's reality. And then you have so many people who are thinking that they're fighting for freedom and then want to attack the same people that they say are heroes. We need to have more respect for our police officers, and we need to do more of this, we need to do more of that, and we need to have more patriotism for our officers. Well, guess what? Why was there assaults on officers yesterday? Why the fuck is an officer dead right now? For what? I know why. The reason why is because you wanted to distract and you wanted to disrupt what they had going on in that Senate building. Because where you marched at, there was no coincidence where you guys were. You was outside the state capitol building where the official electoral votes were being held. So you went from that little Trump rally all the way here, and then you start this shit. And then not only do you start this shit, not only do you see one of your own catching a hot one in the neck, educational purposes, you have a president saying, "We love you. Go home in peace. Go home in peace." Because, boy, I tell you, it sure does look like peace to me. What y'all think? Does this look anything like peace? I'm seeing a lot of commotion. I'm seeing a lot of raging. And you guys don't even have, I'm not even showing I'm not even playing the audio. It's a sad day, man. But you know what was even sadder about it? Was that there were still people saying, there was still people saying that this was no worse than what happened last April at the Black Lives Matter protests. See, all I heard from these mainstream media people were protesters. They were protesters. And all I heard from them back then were rioters, looters. It's a fucking sad thing. When we are looking, we see the skin color. We saw the token Negroes out there, but we saw the skin complexity of the people who were out there. They stormed into a state capitol building where a traditional ceremony to count the votes was being held and disrupted it for hours. 5 people dead, one including officer. The white woman who, caught the bullet in the neck, she passed away as well. Just a clusterfuck, man. Just a clusterfuck. And what did you do? What was your end game? What did you finally accomplish? You accomplished shit. You accomplished nothing. Yeah, you started some shit. No, I tell you what you started. You started a 14-day lockdown in Washington, D.C. That's what you did. That's what you did. That's what you did. 4 people in here, man. Please do me a favor, hit that like button. Anybody want to join up there? Just let me know in the comment section if you want to join in and talk about it for a little bit, and I'll drop the link in the chat. I wasn't gonna stay up here too long. I just wanted to rant with y'all real quick because I don't like coming to y'all on this serious shit like this, but I had to. I had to get this off my mind. There is no way, and I'll even say it. She's a traitor, but I'll even say it. She's a traitor for this country who served this country. But I'm still gonna give her credit. Rest in peace to the woman who was shot in the neck. Rest in peace to her. But here's the thing: you think one or two or three or four or five or 10 black men or women could have been in that same predicament, been in that same room with the same amount of cameras and the same amount of police officers, and you think there would have just been one body dropping in there? There was journalists in there with their thousands of dollars of cameras filming the whole shit. And then you had your regular people with their phones out. There was multiple angles of that woman getting killed. Do you really think that would have been the outcome had it been a Black Lives Matter anything? Rally, conversation, a Black Lives rally meeting? Could have been a damn car wash. They probably would have got a worse, a worse, a worse. You know what I'm saying? Look at this shit. Look at this. There is no way in fuck this would have occurred, ladies and gentlemen. No way. There is no way this is a Black Lives Matter protester doing all this shit, making all this noise. Look, if you look, and their cameras was kind of fuzzy here, they broke into this area. Look, this area right here, they broke into it. Cops is right there. They broke in. They're in. They're making their way in. This is some absolute bullshit. And then I feel like this is a situation where that one person who's gonna say, "Well, you know, life ain't fair. Life ain't fair." It's not. But god damn it, man. These guys are considered patriots. Now they're calling them insurgents. But I've only seen one or two media sources call them for what they are: domestic terrorists. And I'm not just talking about one or two people. All these people trying to make their way in. That's exactly what they are. Because they tried to break into, look at this man. They tried to break into the state capitol building. And they did break into the state capitol building. It's bullshit. I don't want to sound cool. I don't want to sound off course. I really don't want to sound, belligerent or anything else like that, but niggas ain't doing all this. This does not happen in our communities. But you know what, though? In this country, you see these people have the complexion for the protection. That's all it is to it. Now, if anybody else is in the chat, man, just let me know. 3 people watching. If anybody want to just join up, just let me know in the link. Let me know in the comments that you want to talk about it for a second. Just want to just vent for a little bit, man. This isn't even a live. I wouldn't even waste a random thoughts on these guys. Even though I'm giving you guys my random thoughts now, technically, I wouldn't waste the whole fucking show talking about these pricks. No. For what? But I will say that I had to get on here for a certain amount of time just to get out my thoughts on this, man, because it's been eating me up. I wanted to come on here last night and just black out. I swear on everything I love. I wanted to just black out. And then I said, no, don't start that New Year's shit with a blackout. Don't do it, Jordan. Don't do it. And I said, fine. I'm not going to start the year with a blackout. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give it a day, and then I'm going to give my opinion while showing a little video of what the fuck was going down. If YouTube takes this video down by any means necessary, I will post it back up. Don't worry. Just saying, YouTube purposes, this is review purposes, this is educational purposes, this is review, and this is fair use. It's sad, really. And what's so sad about it is it's not necessarily the fact that they're out there. People have the right to be out there. Where these guys are, well, I think they're still a little close. You think they're still a little close, but just being out there is no fucking big deal. When you start bum rushing things and you start hitting through lines and you knocking through doors and you cutting through material, look, they cutting through the shit. And I'm just thinking to myself, yo, there is no way that by now the Capitol Police would have had the whole block tear gassed up. If this was a Black Lives Matter protest going this way, this would have been absolutely, in my mind, this whole plaza would have been gassed up. All of it. So why do I keep bringing that to you, and why am I bringing this to you tonight? It's just, like I said, this isn't going to be a long live. This is more like a rant, a random rant. Because for me, I understand that I wasn't around to see the dogs and the fire hoses used against us. I wasn't around for those days. I wasn't around for Jim Crow and, you know what I'm saying, the Reconstruction era. I wasn't there for all of that. But I've already seen a fucking war. I've seen one of the worst tragedies in 9/11 in the history of the world. I've been through a pandemic, multiple wars, multiple attacks, multiple strikes. This, according to history, ladies and gentlemen, this is how the Civil War happened. The Civil War in those times, around those times, there's no way it couldn't have been or couldn't have looked no different than this. There's no way it couldn't have. But again, when we talk, when we protest for Black lives, it becomes fuck for us. It's sad. It's sad, and it's to me again. It's a point to go. Okay, we know that the only thing that we can honestly do anytime we have a problem is protest, because we can't go all vigilante anymore. World War, you know what I'm saying? Wild Wild West style. We can't be them no more. So the only thing we can do is set up infrastructures and set up events such as this. But how do we integrate it for it to work for us? That's the question. We storm into the Capitol building, they shooting our black ass. Educational purposes. I just had to say it. There's no way it's lasting this long if this was the case with Negroes. There is no way. I bet everything I have. There's no way that there's no way there wouldn't have been more bodies dropped at a Black Lives Matter protest had it went down like this. And I debate anybody on that right now. I debate anybody on that right now. This doesn't even compare. There is no comparison to what occurred yesterday. But it happened. And eventually, what do we have to do? Eventually, we're going to have to move on from it. I get it. But we want to make it clear. I want to make it clear to everybody. And let me put my face on the screen for a second. I want to make it clear for everybody that what we saw yesterday is probably going to happen again. Because when we're out in the street, they might try to meet us. We're talking about 4 years of a Democratic Senate, Democratic House, and now a Democratic White House. People are not happy with that. People have no intentions of going back to that. So, what does that mean? That means I wouldn't be more surprised, or excuse me, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more of this. I would not be surprised if we saw more of this. I wouldn't, not at all. Now, is it just going to be for now? The reasons it's going to be for, you know what I'm saying, this happening? Who knows? But I know this right here, we're going to see more of. Now, I really, honestly, and truly hope that it doesn't get to the point where people are getting taken from. Again, an unarmed woman was shot in the throat. That is not something that makes me happy. I'm not happy about that. But you know what? It is the reality. You walked in, or you stormed in, or you braved in to a federal building where a ceremonial service to elect a new president and vice president was going down. And you tried to fuck that up. Guns pointed, you tried to get in the building, the barricaded building where some of the senators were staying in their rooms. What did you think was going to happen? Shout out to MC the Shiznit, man. Just ranting and raving, man. I'm just ranting and raving right now, man. Because we just got to get to a point where it's just like, there's no way you can look at this and go, these guys were told to go home in peace. We love you guys. You're special. Huh? You're special. But when there's an organization marching for Black lives being lost at the hands of police, none of them are special. The the reason why they're doing that is not special at all. It's rioting. It's inciting violence. This is the shit that they'll say. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Y'all know me by now. Probably the 3 people in here, man. Y'all know me. Y'all know I like to play music. Y'all know I like to drop bombs. Y'all know I like to have a fun time and laugh. but at least until I get this out right now, you know what I'm saying? It's tough to see yourself raising generations here under this fucking system. Under this system that is clearly here to fuck us at any angle they can get us. And it's terrible. The more people, and again, this is once again an embarrassment. The Trump administration has already been an embarrassment for the past 4 years. This was a further embarrassment because this will be the lasting image of his presidency. Him going out like this with a crowd that was just at his rally. Why do you think they have the American flags and Trump 2020 and all this other shit? They just came from the Trump rally and walked over and started this. You notice the spray paint that's on that officer's mask? His mask is supposed to be clear. It's purple or orange or whatever. Kind of funny representing Donald Trump, but that's another story. They're doing this to officers. And I say that and I try to emphasize officers because they try to make them seem like they are the biggest heroes in the world. They do so much this, that, third. I mean, Jesus Christ. We're letting people stomp on them, punch them, throw rocks on them. Then once we tell them to get the fuck out the way, they march into the building. And then after that, got told to go home in peace. That they are special and that we, according to what Donald Trump says, we love you. Unfucking believable. It's unbelievable. But I like that the fact that I'm able to get this rant out right now. I'm so happy I'm able to get this rant out right now. This has been a crazy holiday season for me. It's the best holiday season it's been in years. But this was, you know, I was starting to feel that little holiday funk. Christmas just passed, the New Year's just passed, my father's birthday's coming up. So it's a time coming for me. But man, there's no way I can be able to make y'all laugh and entertain y'all a little bit, maybe just inform you just a tad bit, and not give y'all the rundown on this. I still want to plan a 2020 wrap up show so I could plan, you know what I'm saying? My favorite songs of the year, my favorite album of the year. You know, the moments that I like the most, the moments I hated the most of 2020. I wanted to give y'all a full wrap up, but it's hard to concentrate with, of course, real life shit going on. You still need to go ahead and make your mortgage. Banks are still asking for their money. Renters are still asking for their money. So it's like people got real life moves to make. And it's difficult to deal with that and combine with, you know, just the shit that I see that I know for a fact is just a double standard. It's a double standard, y'all. That's why I can't even get mad at those people who, although they may be kind of vocal on the protest that goes on and everything that they may be vocal on the people out there. It's hard for me to be mad at them for not going out there, man. Whether it's the ones with the attitudes who is not just gonna take getting a tear gas bomb thrown on them lightly, or it's just a person that, you know what I'm saying, maybe a little frail in the heart. Maybe if they get a little too excited, something might happen to them. I can't even get mad at people for not really wanting to engage in protests like this because we see what happens to us. Keep in mind, I'm saying and specifying and pointing out us. That's how they doing us. Man, listen, join live here, man. I want to thank each and every one of y'all, man, for joining in, man. 3 people in here, man. I appreciate it. Listen, there was a time when there was nobody in here, man. Like, I didn't want to do a long live on this, man. I just wanted to get this out the way so I can give y'all more content. Hopefully by tomorrow, I can give y'all some more content. Maybe get Random Thoughts 25 going. So, I appreciate y'all for rocking out with me, man. At a time like this, man, y'all just gotta watch out for y'all family, man. I think you've heard it more and more, but you've never heard it come out of my mouth. But I gotta say it, man. If you have the means and the ability to purchase you a firearm, educational purposes, you might want to consider doing that and then taking a class and getting your license, getting your concealeds. Because here's the thing: I live in an open carry state. No way, no way a cop is gonna see my black ass going down the road with a Glock on my hip and leave me alone. It's not happening. Not even in a fucking open carry state where there can be old men can walk in there with something on their hip, no problem. Nobody's gonna look at them. They might get a look. They might get a look, but they not going. You know what I'm saying? People not gonna call the cops on them. Me, I walk my black ass with, you know what I'm saying, with my wife beater on and my shorts on, and I got a Glock on my hip. I'm getting the cops called on me. Be lucky if my ass don't get shot. That's what I'm saying. Possibly, you know what I'm saying. Maybe take some classes and you know what I'm saying. Take some classes, get your conceals, but it might be about that time if you're on the fence or you haven't taken that leap. It might be time. It might be time because these next few, I'm not even gonna say days or weeks. I'm gonna say these next few months is gonna be very, very, very interesting. Just the reception that a President Joe Biden is gonna get. How these Proud Boys and these QAnon boys and all these other people, how they're gonna deal with a Democratic House, a Democratic Senate, and a Democratic White House. Although they can say technically they got a conservative Supreme Court, but everything is going to be run democratically. So the response to that in the coming months is going to be something to look out for too. I don't think this is round one. No, excuse me. I think this is round one. I believe that this is round one. And round two might not be that far around the corner. January 6th, by the time January 20th come up, these guys, they all probably would have had their beers by now, their shots of whiskey. They would have calmed down a little bit. And then they like, okay, well, here we go. Pull up to the inauguration on that bullshit. Just everybody be safe, man. And everybody just know that in the face of darkness, in the face of danger, no matter what it is, never give up. MC, thank you. NBA City, thank you. 7, I appreciate it. Everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'm going to be back with some more Jordan Live content. I promise y'all. But I appreciate y'all listening to me rant for a little bit. I'm going to holler at y'all. Y'all have a good night. Peace, y'all.